So Idoing recently sent me out one of their head units, and today we're going to be installing this into a 2011 Dodge Ram 1500. This is the quad cab and the Laramie. So we do have the upgraded sound system, so there will be just one extra step in this process when we're actually hooking this up. With that being said, let's go ahead and see what all comes inside of the box here. So I have opened this up just a few times to make sure I had everything I needed, but I put everything back as well as I could. We do get a step-by-step guide here, and it's very detailed in all of the instructions. I'm not sure if this is actually included, but I believe Idoing gave this to me just because the stock backup camera on my truck will no longer work with this head unit. So we're gonna replace it with a higher quality camera eventually in this video. We get their adapter here, and this is just for some units from my understanding, but I believe my truck is going to need this adapter. We also get all of the other connections that you could possibly need, and they even included a little trim tool, which is pretty cool. We get a little bevel to make it all look clean, and then we have the actual head unit, and this is a touchscreen with CarPlay and Android Auto. Here's what the back looks like, and luckily they show us exactly how to wire this all up. So for the first step, we're just gonna take this little piece of rubber off, and we have 2 screws that we need to undo right there. So once you guys get those screws out, you're gonna pop this panel out. It does take a lot more force than you would expect. And right now, I'm gonna go see if there's a screw behind this panel. I've seen some people say that there is, because it does feel like I'm slightly stuck on something. So I'll be right back with you guys when I figure that out. All right, so sure enough, there was a screw right over there. We also had 2 more screws right down there. And if you see a star bit, it's gonna be a T15. That's what I've been using. So next up, to get this trim out, we're gonna need to also take up this piece of trim around here so we could lift up all of this plastic. All right, so by now your car should be looking like this, and we should be able to pull this off with just a couple more clips, I believe, down here. So I'm gonna go ahead and give that a try. Before we do anything electrical though, I would recommend disconnecting your battery. All right, so we got that whole trim piece out of the way. There are some wires to disconnect, but now we have access to the old head unit, and it just takes 4 bolts in total, 2 on either side. And then we're finally gonna get access to the back of here where we could see how it was previously wired and start disconnecting those. All right, so we got the 4 bolts taken out. Here's what the backside's gonna look like. I'm gonna go ahead and take a picture just so I remember, just in case. But other than that, I think we're good to start disconnecting some of these wires and start prepping the new head unit. So next we're gonna go ahead and wire this radio up just like this picture, and all those wires should be in the bag with all of your dongles. All right guys, so we have everything wired up right here. We just followed the instructions, and then we mounted our little bevel here. So I believe the next step is going to be sliding this in and getting some of those wires hooked up to the vehicle. Just a couple things to note that kind of threw me for a loop at first. This is going to be the adapter for your FM radio signal. So this little yellow wire will plug into that, and you could also connect your Sirius XM wires right up to this adapter. Now it does need a remote to actually turn on, so we connected it to the remote on the head unit, and then we also hooked up this wire to that, and we also have a spare remote wire that's gonna go to a future amp. Now for the sub output, we're connecting just one RCA to the subwoofer output wire just for the future, because I'm probably installing a sub eventually and don't want to have to take this all apart. With my car, we did end up needing this little box here, and some of these wires are just not going to be used. So we did have the radio / head unit installed, but I did realize something very important that I forgot. Because the new radio has a larger screen than factory, we do need to put this back in place before we actually hook up that head unit. The good news is everything was working just fine, so I just disconnected the wires at the head unit, and I was able to keep all of the other wires just back there. I still have to cable manage, but I'm gonna go ahead and start putting this back together. All right guys, so we just wire managed everything. We have them going through these little panels on either side, and I have the microphone going closer to the driver. Now, something else I did want to point out that I actually incorrectly did earlier in the video, and I'll make sure to throw that in the notes so you guys don't make the same mistake, but this hole should face down. The reason is so that it actually lines up with these clips. So I had everything about done, and I tried to push this on, but it was hitting that bracket. So I put it on upside down, so we're gonna flip that, but we're almost done with this review. I just wanted to point that out just so you guys don't make the same mistake I did. All right guys, so it's been a few days since we messed with the install, and after I got all those wires hooked up, I was basically able to just put on this trim panel back on, then I was able to slide this radio unit just straight back in. Now I do want to go over just a couple more things and some things that you might find very helpful just coming from somebody that has installed one of these now. First of all, I was able to get the camera working, and this one specifically was not able to use my factory camera. But as I turn the wheel, you could see it has a trajectory. So that's really cool. And it's a really high quality camera, much better than the stock one. Something else that I really like is that the screen is much more responsive than most CarPlay adapters that I've used or head units. So I'm really happy with the performance. Let me go ahead and show you guys the camera setup. So for the camera setup, you're gonna take that wire, go down here, and there's a little gasket under all of this and the carpet. And it's for your emergency brake. You'll just cut a hole in the gasket. Your wire is gonna come down there and you're going to wire it along the base of your car all the way around this wheel. And I just use zip ties. So basically you're gonna come to the back of the truck now and take the taillight out, and you're gonna tap into the reverse light right there. What that's gonna do is give you power only when you guys are in reverse, which is perfect for the scenario. And then I just screwed my camera right behind the license plate bracket, and it's right by my trailer hitch, so that should help me when I'm backing up, especially trying to get connected to a trailer. But the camera is adjustable, and it comes with screws that you could just screw straight into the plastic, and that worked out perfectly. So now let's talk about the head unit. So first of all, this is gonna be like the main screen normally. You guys could just connect to Bluetooth. And I also have those USBs hooked up going behind the dash. So I have my dash cam hooked up to that now. But we have a ton of settings in this menu here. We could swipe, and then these are all of the settings and apps that are built into the head unit. This is not CarPlay yet. We could also download apps. We have a really nice equalizer with bass enhancement, surround, field, and all of these work. Something else that's really cool to me is you guys have a built-in calculator. You guys could adjust the brightness of this. You have the touch screens over here to adjust music, go back, home, or turn the screen off. And if you guys need to restart it, just stick a little paper clip in the reset hole right there. Just press it once and it'll restart. And I believe if you hold it, it'll actually do a reset. We also do get some controls here. So if you guys need to mess around with your steering wheel controls, this is where you would do that, but I didn't have to do that. I will show you something really important though. So if you guys go to settings, depending on your car, you're gonna have different protocols to get your steering wheel controls to actually carry over. So for me specifically, for whatever reason, XP Simple Jeep All XP High Amp worked with my Dodge Ram. No idea why that is the one that works, but it does. And you could go there and select different protocols. They're all already downloaded right there for you, so you could quickly adjust them. We could adjust sound. Normally it has a little button sound when you click something. I turn that off. We could adjust the display here and just a whole bunch of different settings in here. Looks like it even has a video player, so I assume if you hook up a USB, you guys could use that. But personally, I'm mostly interested in the CarPlay. So if we go to CarLink 2.0, it takes us back to CarPlay where it has all of my CarPlay apps, which is pretty cool. We also have a giant map here now, and my cell service isn't the best, which is the main reason it's lagging, but this is really helpful to use. Also, if you guys are having trouble with this button right here, there's a little button that has a quick menu, and it's right next to some of the CarPlay buttons. So usually you could press and hold and drag that down so it's not in your way, just in case it's getting in the way of your Spotify or settings button. Just a little tip that I thought would be helpful. I have this wired up to a subwoofer as well, and that worked out perfectly. I just used their sub out. And overall, this screen just looks beautiful. I love the way it looks. It's a huge screen and horizontal and very easy to use. And just real quick, I'm pressing the steering wheel buttons and it is adjusting the volume. So it does work. You guys just may have to mess around with it. And I did want to mention that if you guys change the protocol setting, you guys will need to go ahead and restart with that little reset pin the whole unit, and then the protocol will actually take place. So if you guys are looking for a really nice aftermarket head unit, this one's awesome. You guys could use this with backup cameras. Your steering wheel still works. You guys get equalizers. And I even have a little mic hooked up right there for my voice calls. And by the way, the voice calls sound much better with this unit than the old stock car. So anyways, if you guys are looking for one of these head units, this is a really good one. And that's it for my really quick review and install of this Idoing head unit.